Hello and welcome everybody. It's Sunday evening and that means one thing. It's Misfits Formula 2 action rounding off this week's MRL racing. And obviously this week we've been at Austria. Joining me for the F2 is of course Alex. But Alex, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
Hello. Very good, very good. Just here for these F2 races, and well, of course, very excited to see these drivers because it's a very tight track, and of course, very short track, as we know, is Austria.
Yeah, qualifying around here. Very, very tight. Obviously, only one shot here, but let's have a quick look at that track. 10 turns, 3 DRS straights. It's a DRS train forming track, and well, it's provided a lot of racing action so far this week. It is really, there are so many opportunities to overtake around here. It makes for some really entertaining racing, and fingers crossed F2 could provide that this evening. We should be going in just a few moments time. We're nearly at the hour, but well, today looks like we've got a lot of familiar faces on the grid in terms of, you know, people who are quite frequently here in the F2, whether that be from the other F2 F1 grids that we have here in the MRL, or just people from the community. Like, some people just seem to really like playing or racing in these F2 lobbies. Some people just really like these cars, and when a lot of people don't like the cars, those people, they really excel in them.
Yeah, we have a lot of drivers that really like this series. I really like it personally. I actually used to race a lot. Now I'm going to think, and well, of course, the races here are really entertaining. Of course, a lot of wheel-to-wheel action. Canada was amazing, and we have some rain sometime, and that always is, of course, a very good thing to see on these tracks.
No, I think race it a lot is a little bit of an understatement. If I'm not wrong, you were last season's F2 champion. Correct me if I'm wrong, but certainly had a successful, you had a successful run. But now here in the commentary booth, a pleasure to have you alongside. One shot qualifying. We'll see who the game puts us on, because obviously we're going to get to spectate one lap unless this person does particularly poorly, if for whatever reason, you know, an invalid lap, that kind of thing. And an invalid lap, well, this could, one shot qualifying, we could really see a bit of an upset. It's very overcast as well here. Don't think we're going to see rain in the qualifying per se, but we might see it in the race, or one of the races. Obviously, two races. The slightly longer race, followed by the sprint race, which is shorter. No mandatory pit stop in that one. But we are getting across from Neon that it is dry for all of the sessions. So no rain to be expected. There's shorter races than in the F1 as well. But that doesn't mean they won't be entertaining. We've had a lot of mixed weather races, so it'll be quite nice to have that one stable throughout. Sprint races, yeah, apparently plus 45 light rain, but we probably won't see it.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see on a sprint race. But yeah, we had APEC with rain, we had Tier 2, we had Tier 1. A lot of races this week with that rain. So at the moment I'm on board with Chenjay. On turn 1, he's up into P3. He's opening DRS. At least he should be. And now running into turn 3. Seems like a very good first sector for the American right now on the high-tech car. So he will be on traction here for turn 3, opening DRS and just limping here on this back straight. It's one of the 3 straights with DRS on this track. So at the moment, it seems like a very decent lap, but a lockup on turn 4 puts himself into P3. The moment Brainstew is leading, Neon on second place, and Sage is suffering a little bit, probably with the lockups on these F2 cars.
Yeah, it's like you said, a well-constructed lap. That lockup down into turn 4 seems to cost him a little bit. He's dropped from P1 to P3. Brainstew, he's been particularly successful here, and I think he might be looking to follow in your shoes, Alex, to take that championship crown. He's been doing a lot of things to these F2 cars. Not the most consistent, but he has been very fast when he's been in the car. Neon as well, obviously. Tier 2 driver, very fast there. Shenjay, he crosses third at 112.5. Brainstew on pole at 112 flat. 4/10 faster than Neon, so he must have had a pretty monstrous final sector. But oh my goodness, I didn't even change it.
No, I think we didn't change it, but still, it was a normal lap. It wasn't that good. It's up into P3. but it's half a second slower than Brewster, who will take those 4 points. Still, if we miss this lap, you won't miss all the action now because it's coming down. So this feature and sprint race.
Well, apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. But we are now back. We've got Brainstew on pole in the Dams car at 112 flat. 4 points for him. Then Neon, Shenjay, Welsh Toast, and back row. The rest in the top 5. 1 second separate them. Then we have Rutanius on the pad. He's injured in sixth. And we'll go through the rest of it in just a moment. And obviously it will be on the screen as well. But it'll kick off in just a moment. We will have no formation lap. It's a lot sunnier than it was in the qualifying session. So that will change a little bit. Everyone went for the super softs there. I think it's super softs and I want to say softs, but
softs. Yeah, super soft, the soft. The thing should be the normal strategy. Of course, you can do the reverse strategy, but you're risking for early safety car that can compromise your strategy. So at the moment, these 18 drivers, I think we are today, will be looking to race here on F2. It was on pole. Brainstew was almost always, I want to say, because he's always very fast on that one shot, and normally on race as well, but sometimes it's unlucky on the safety car. So we will see what happens today, Unicorn.
Yeah, here we go then. 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Austria. And away we go then for the first of the 2 races. Shenjay not getting a bad start, but Rutanius, he's had an absolutely lightning start. Not quite sure where he's come from. He's already up to P3, defending on the outside though. Shenjay looking to get back past, but it's Rutanius ahead into 3rd position. And back row, Psycho, they've really not had the best starts at all. Psycho now looking up the inside of 2, looking around the outside of 3. Shenjay's doing the same on Rutanius, but who is that? Yar Santiago. Not someone I've seen before, but, well, he's here to show what he can do up the inside into turn 3. There's been a bit of an issue. It seems JA Games. What has gone on here? Williams, Macca, someone had an issue. Can't see any damage on JA Games' car right now, but side by side.
Oh, Neon spawned out of turn 4. Now he has damage. It's not terminal damage, but it's major damage. I think Red Wing should be for the University car now, waiting for every driver to come past, but Neon will fall to last place, and Coffee Sipper with a 3-second time penalty. Not a good start for the Dutch drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, unless you're Rutanius, the Dutchman, he's up into P2 already. Let's have a quick look at positional change, because there's been a lot of it, as everyone's still jostling position here in the opening laps. Rutanius, what a lightning start. He's up 4 places. Yar Santiago, he's up 6 with that lunge down into turn 3, and obviously Neon coming out of the top 2, as, who is that? I think it's Welsh Toast on Moen. No, it's Coffee Sipper.
3-second time penalty for exceeding tech limits on turn 1, but who's that? It's back row now, side by side on turn 3. Sensei trying to do the same exactly, and Rutanius on the inside now with the soft compound. It seems like better traction for the American, and same with Psycho.
Oh, so unfortunate for him in the ART, just spinning around there at turn 3. A lot of people trying to go side by side through this 3rd corner, and the traction just doesn't seem to be there. I wonder if it's setup related, Alex, but just no one seems to have too much traction out of those corners. You see it in the F1 cars. The outside line can be pretty powerful. You just floor it a little bit earlier than those on the inside. But here, the switchback has been pretty strong right now. Who is that back? Welsh Toe? Is it back row?
It's Brainstew.
Brainstew from
the lead. Now he's down into P15 and probably more. Yeah, he's just behind Williams. Only Neon, who spawned on lap before and has damage, who's waiting for that lap 3, I think, to change the tires. Only him and Brainstew will be last there, since he's setting the fastest lap with the reverse strategy. And now I think Williams and Psycho side by side in turn 9 and turn 10. Psycho ahead of the Prema Racing car. Seems like a very good switchback now for Williams. And Antonio will pit, but just before the window for the mandatory pit stop lap.
Oh, Williams, a big slide through turn 1. That's unfortunate for him. Coffee Sipper Moen, they're side by side through turn 3. Coffee Sipper trying it around the outside of the BWT race lab, and he might have found it here behind him. Forza Sedan, he's getting a bit skew whiff coming out of the 3rd turn. But the Carlin car right now still side by side with Moen in that BWT. The Pink Panther on the inside right now, a little later on the brakes, but can Coffee Sipper find that traction? He can. Moen's actually had a little bit of a problem trying to get out of the corner despite being on the harder compound tyre. He's just going to struggle a little bit for speed. And behind them, the other Carlin car, Atom. Well, he's no slouch either, Alex. We've seen him pretty fast in multiple different divisions. And, well, there goes Neon getting a 3-second time penalty. Psycho, has he had an issue here? There's a big fight going on for P14. Brainstew muscling his way through for 14th. And JA Gaines following him through. Coffee Sip and Moen, they're still side by side. Moen are on the outside of the final corner, a little bit unorthodox. And now Coffee Sip will have DRS to attack Moen, the Welshman behind them. Domi, Atom. Domi, one of the organisers for the F2, up the inside, doing very, very nicely to hold on to the 8th place. Antonio, he's picked up a 3-second time penalty. Up on the front yard, Santiago. Well, that's a big off. He's tapped. So I think that was back row. It is back row. A huge slide and spin into what I believe is the Trident car. It is. And that's so unfortunate for them. A lot, Alex, that everyone just seems to be struggling for traction around here.
Yeah, they are now. Eric overtaking back row, as well as the 4-door on Coffee Sipper. All of them side by side back row with 3-second time penalty. 4-door losing the car on traction. The Campos racing car will not be happy about that. I think there's no major damage for his front wing, but still, I think probably losing some portion of that. Adam very close on Yari Santiago. I think Yari has damage, as we saw on tier 3. That punt, I think it was, but I'm not sure because I missed that action. But at the moment, the Carlin car of Atom, it's 6th. Coffee Sipper was 6th the last lap, but now dropping into P8 because Domi and him, they are side by side on turn 9. Yari Santiago on the pits, but at the moment, Coffee Sipper side by side with his teammate. Domi will try to go with the better exit, but who's that? It's Eric on the inside of everyone. It's a 3 wide into the run for turn 1 Unicorn. This can be massive. Now Eric on the inside will have the better line, it seems.
Coffee Sipper just got close, and there's a massive Constantina as well behind. 3 wide into turn 1, Alex. It was never going to end well. And who is that? I think that's Brainstew on the back of all of this. Might find it around the outside. He didn't go for it. There's so many cars side by side. There is absolute carnage now. Back row looking at the inside of Brainstew. Macca's run wide. He's usually very consistent here. Brainstew's on the outside trying to overtake as many people as he can. This is the wheel-to-wheel action in F1. It doesn't usually offer because it's a little bit bigger, but these F2 cars, F1 just throws them around. They're a little bit slower, and that really affords it. Here we go, the battle for P10. Well, you could call it the battle for P8, but Brainstew past back row back into 11th place. 4-door sedans there. Everyone, a little tap to the rear of 4-door sedan from Brainstew. He has to back out to avoid spinning himself, and back row back up the inside into 11th place. These guys are really not letting the other breathe. It is absolutely just full on. Everyone is putting everyone under as much pressure as they possibly can.
Back row, Mark, I think they're heading to the pits. Oh, Mark a little bit wide there on the entry, but at the moment it seems like Brainstew will gain some places trying to do the overcut. Mark and 4-door sedan are not the only one. Sorry, it's back row. And Maka bidding for changing that super soft to the soft compound to the end. Meanwhile, Chenjay and Moen, as well as Eric and Domi on the reverse strategy. Brainstew now at the exit of turn 1. 4-door sedan having a snap of oversteer there on turn 1, and Brainstew will go up into P9. They're on the braking zone. 8% improvement on that first sector for the Italian. At the moment, trying to climb back after losing the lead on lap 3, I think it was.
Yeah, and it was an unfortunate spin. He's just got to try and keep himself in it now. DRS around here, powerful, but already we're seeing Shenshei and leader things. Rutenis was holding with him quite well, but now 2 seconds off. And it was that, I think it was Domi spinning in the background. It is! Is that what Neos did? And Coffee Sipper's collected him. There's been a massive incident again through turn 5. This time, though, it wasn't just one car. It's collected Coffee Sipper there. So unfortunate. I don't think the yellow flags would have been up early enough for the Carlin cars.
Oh, and Adam now having a spin out of turn 8. They are really struggling now, Unicorn. I don't know if it's the wear of this F2, because it seems like he has a lot of graining on that front left, the Carlin driver. So at the moment heading into the pits, as well as Wellstost and Rutsenius. Sorry, yes, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it was Wellstost as well changing for the super soft. No damage on his front wing. Adam, yes, spinning on the pit lane. Probably because that front wing damage if he had. So right now, Rutsenius, and I think he sped on the pit lane as well.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate, those penalties. You know, if you're just going a little bit too fast, Rutsenius is saying he was 1 kilometer over by the looks of it. But 1 kilometer is still 1 kilometer too quickly. But everyone else coming out. Brainstew will be right behind Atom And we'll see. These two drivers both particularly quick as Braintree gets a little bit skew whiff coming out of the pit exit, but he is still pointing in the right direction. And who is that? There's a nice little battle for, well, it looks like Moen. I think it might be a back. Oh, no, it is. Yeah, it is the Campos racing car of Santiago.
Yeah, that's Santiago, yeah. Could be Yara Santiago, who had a massive issue after having to pit. I don't know if he had to pit again. It seems like because he's on 0 laps, all soft. So at the moment, really struggling the Spaniard on P18, as well as Psycho P19, who had disqualified because he was blocking the pit lane on the entry of it. I think he spawned there on the exit of turn 9 and then blocked it. We didn't notice. I think it was like 6 laps ago, but a lot of action have really overlapped that action. So at the moment, Brain's still really closing the gap on Adam. Shinji on the lead, still stretching that gap on, of course, that pit stop, because not even 50% of the race, and he's on the harder compound, so he'll try to do the reverse strategy. So, but the super soft on the last stint.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see whether it works out for him, because right now his main rival, Rutenis, was 2 seconds behind him when the pit stop started. Obviously, now that gap is, about 28 seconds, if not 29 seconds, but we'll just have to wait and see. Brainstew still on the rear of Atom. These two were in the pit lane together after Atom's incident. And there you go. Atom trying to hold off on the inside, but Brainstew well and truly past the Carling car very early as well, before turn 2. It's a pretty invisible corner, but it is there as you climb the hill down into turn 3. And, well, Brainstew is comfortably through there with no resistance from Atom in P8. And, well, P8, a good place to be, as there's a little bit of lag, it would seem, for Brainstew, so fingers crossed that doesn't hinder him too much. But P8, well, he'll start pole position in the next one if he finishes there with that top 8 reversed for the grid of the sprint race.
Shinji having a connection issue, I think, on that front end. He's losing a lot of time. I will try to invite him as soon as possible. But I was watching Domi. Domi had the spin, and he didn't have damage, it seems, because he's still on P6. And, well, very lucky for him. Not for Coffee Sipper, who is now in P16. Oh, and I jinxed him. He just spins out of turn 10, Unicorn. Oh, this can be massive now, because he will lose 3 places.
Well, he might even lose a 4th here. If Forzos can get here quickly enough. Doesn't look like he will, but he's not too far off there. Meanwhile, Eric, he's on the hunt for Moen in P2. Well, they still haven't caught Shenjie, but they are catching, like you said. And, well, these guys are on the same strategy as the American, although given the timing to his disappearance, I assume whatever Shenjie's issue was, it's been fixed. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's safe, though. It might take him a little bit of a while to get recontrol of that car. But Eric absolutely flying in comparison to this BMW team right now. We'll have to see what he's got in the tank. Halfway through, we're on lap 10 of 20 in the feature races.
Oh, Domi's on again.
Yeah, he's really struggling. I'm imagining those tires are just cooked now.
Yeah, I think it's the 3rd spin for the Hungarian. And now it's down into P11. 3 second time penalty for Wilstos, who's now on P5. After that pit stop, so probably, no, his second, virtually, I think. Well, at least second on his strategy, because Rutinius might be the leader of that one. Neon as well having a 3 second time penalty. And at the moment, Bryn's still very close on back row.
Yeah, speaking of Maka on the inside of J8 Games ahead of Neon. Neon actually tapping the rear of Maka. Oh, and he spun into the pit. I don't know actually if he was aiming for it. Well, he's set himself up nicely for it. Oh, and he's retired the car, it would seem. Brainstew back row, like you were saying. Brainstew really trying to press forward up this grid after that earlier incident cost him. But we'll see what he can do, as Backer a little bit shaky out of the 3rd turn, but was as a moment of calm here, I say, as Eric is getting nice and close to the remote. And a big shout out to everyone watching, and a big shout out to our partners as well, Next Level Racing. If you're looking for sim racing rigs, then look no further, check them out in the chat or the panels down below. But here goes the Univirtuosi of Eric up the inside of Moen, down into turn 1. And he's got that move done nicely. And Moen, a little bit shaky on the exit. I think that's Yar Santiago there in 16th, looking to try and find a way through as well. He's held off because he knows that he doesn't want to, go past. They get blue flag, but Antonio just sent himself right into there and missed his braking point and now damages himself on the cap post. Moen's got shaky and he's got into the rear of Moen now as well. Bad luck for Antonio. Missed his braking point and then Moen just did not accelerate out of turn 3 at all. He's got a real problem on that traction. Meanwhile, Atom, he is hunting down back row. Going a little bit slowly at this stage of the race. He got taken by Brainstew a couple of laps ago, but he's really squeezed Atom onto the grass there. Atom now looking around the outside of turn 3. Can the Carlin Racing car find the switchback? He can't. But my goodness, that got close to being a very nasty incident. Atom, though, an experienced driver, managing to cling on, and here he goes for P7 up the inside. There's a little bit of contact between the two of them, wheel banging. Neither driver seems to be happy with the other, but they're still pointing in the right direction, and they'll still be fighting out until the checkered flag. Meanwhile, up at the front, Shenjie, Eric, Moen cross onto their 11th or their 12th lap on these tyres. Those softs. They'll be getting off of them soon. Will it be this lap, next lap? We'll have to wait and see. But right now, Alex, everyone seems to have calmed down a little bit. That opening action petered off into, just a few battles here and there.
Yeah, at the moment, Moen, I think, is the closest gap, as well as Backrow and Coffee Sipper on Williams. So at the moment, they're, as I said, a little bit calm. Eric with 3 second time penalty, Returnius with 5, Wellstows with 3, Brainsteel 6, Adam 8, Backrow 3, Mark 8, Domi 8 as well, 6, 11, and 9 are for the bottom 3. At the moment, an exchange for 4-door sedan and Mark on the outside of turn 1 and 4-door sedan struggling on traction. He saved it out of the wall. That's good for him because, well, of course, it can cause a lot of issues having that front end with damage. So at the moment, staying on the points for this future race. Of course, no pole for reverse grid. It's the 8th place who gets that one. But at the moment, really good because Mark, with that 8 second time penalty, probably he can win 1 place.
Yeah, very nice move from Mark. Shame for Bordeaux Sedan that he wasn't able to get that traction. We don't see that battle commence any further. Meanwhile, we've got a nice helicopter shot of Coffee Sipper looking at the inside of Williams. Not going for the move, though, into P3. Exercising a lot of caution. Coffee Sipper, well, he was having a really nice race before his teammate Atom, as they went 3 wide, just turned in a little early and spun the front of his teammate. But Coffee Sipper, we'll see. Oh, who is that? Domi again. Coffee Sipper nearly had an issue as well, and well, we saw them come together earlier in the race here as well. And it was no fault to either driver, really. Domi, they touched again. These two, they're like magnets to one another.
Yeah, I think they are really, really close on this track. 14th place and 15th place, but Domi still has to beat, so it's well, now I think he will give that stop for his race. A little bit wide there on entry, but now really, really struggling. Domi, he understeered into the wall. I think he has damage, but that's massive for him. Probably speeding on the pit lane as well, so very bad luck for him.
Yeah, meanwhile, a lap ahead of him, Shenjie's coming into the pits too in the high-tech Mazepin's car. Oh, he picks up a 5-second penalty, though. Obviously, Mazepin now up in F1. So, let's see. Not Mazepin's car anymore, but Eric and Moen staying out. And Moen's still got Yar Santiago behind him, so he seems to be struggling a little bit for pace. But
I can tell you something about Eric. A lot of races I've watched of him on F2, not only in this league, but he normally likes a lot so the overcut and really stretch that first in, normally doing the reverse strategy, of course. So I don't know if we will watch him pitting soon, because he really, really likes to overcut with that stint.
Well, you've got to imagine that, 6 laps on the super soft, it shouldn't be too difficult for him, and you'd want that pace. Rutanius, well, he's been holding on for a while. Domi very wide through turn 3. Real Toast, though, through for 3rd place. Rutanius getting past the back marker as well. But there he goes. Is he going to go for a lunge up the inside into turn 4? He might. Walsh Toast is affording him the space, and opening the window like that isn't what you want to be doing, but Rutanius not able to execute, and Shenjie, well, he's already making moves. Although, Shenjie's pitted for softs. And correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, but he needs to use the super softs as well.
I think he messed it. Shenjie was on the lead. Now, he only has Wellstows to overtake, but he has to pit again, and he's doing it. He's doing it.
He got a 5-second penalty for speeding.
As well. He doesn't want to waste these tires. These tires, he will need it for the sprint race. So at the moment, he will try to conserve it as much as they can. Oh, and he will probably speed again. Oh, I'm not sure about that. No, it's good. to not get another 5-second time penalty, but Eric and Moen pitting, as well as Sensei at the moment for second time on this race after having an issue on the strategy. So at the moment, Sensei will really have to climb back on these 6 laps left on this race. Well, Toast at the moment leading from Rutenis 2 seconds, and Brain still trying to go back again on the lead. Back row very close on the back of Adam.
Well, a quick look at the penalty situation as Eric here comes out of the pit lane. Moen is the highest in 7th with no penalties. Shenjay is now all the way down in 11th place, and he might get passed again if J Games is a little bit too far back. But Eric here, 3 seconds to his name. Welsh Toast at the front of things. He's got 3 seconds as well. Rutanius, he's got 5 seconds. So unlikely they'll beat Welsh Toast, but Brainstew, Atom, they've got more than him. Back row, 3 seconds of penalties. He might see something, at least a position gain on Atom, given their proximity on track. But Eric as well, he's ahead of Atom in terms of penalties too. Brainstew, if he falls back any further, he has been showing pace, so I can't imagine it happening. But if he does, that 8 seconds is, or that 6 seconds, sorry, is really gonna cost him. But let's go back, looking at those tires, get everything back in order.
Brainstew, 3-second time penalty, as you said. So more time he will have to find after having more penalties. Now Chenze on the back of Maka out of turn 8. He will try it on the inside. Maka covering a little bit, but not that much. Now Chenze breaking later for turn 9. It's side by side, but Chenze with that fresher compound and faster compound, as is the Supersoft, will try to do another move now. On further turn, I think there's a little bit of contact, probably a little bit of the sink. But now, opening DRS on the outside line of turn 1. It's Fordorsan, sorry, still on the inside. We'll see, because now he has to cut on the inside, and Fordorsan a little bit oversteer there on the exit of turn 1. Maka will try to gain another place. He lost one with Chenze, but now he will retain P10 after gaining that place on Fordorsan, who has to really wait for another spot to overtake, because that turn 3 is for Maka and Chenze.
Yeah, very nice from him there. Something happened as well up at the front of the field, I think. So I'm not quite sure what happened there. I think might happen with Neil saying Rutanius, so possibly there, but very unfortunate for whoever it was. And Brainstew now up in P2, so yeah, it would have been Rutanius. So I don't know. It doesn't seem that he's got a puncture, because he wouldn't have gone around again. But yeah, he's fine. Shenjay, he picks up a penalty. That's not going to help him in his crusade to find
a spin for Domi as well, I think. Another spin. I think it's 5 already. That's very bad luck for him. Now on to PC17. But he really wants to finish this race, I guess. Now lapped, but is still really trying to push, as Chenze, who is now pushing with that fastest lap. 2 more points on the count, and Eric is very close on back row.
Well, if you're Shenjay, surely the damage mitigation here is to just finish 8th and get that pole position for the next race, because he really needs it. So we'll have to see, but he's got that penalty that Moen doesn't have. Let's have a look at the difference between him and Mark. I don't remember. Mark's got 11 seconds, so Shenjay looking like he will start pole in the next race, unless Maka has something to say about it. Maka just dancing on that 3-second window. There's 3 laps left. So Shenjay's got a lot of time to keep that gap where it is now. It's 3.1. As back row and Eric come through the penultimate corner. It's just a 10th or 2 separating the pair of these two.
Now he will open the DRS that back row has as well. That DRS to defend with. On the inside, we'll try the Spaniard. It seems like side-by-side action on turn 1. A little bit of banging wheels. Good squid from back row. Trying to compromise the exit for the Univertosi driver. But at the moment, back row seems like a very even exit on traction, but Eric at the moment just ahead, both with DRS. Back row will try it on the inside. Yes, he will, but oh, that's a very big launch, and now he'll have to rejoin the track behind Eric, who will win this place and trying to push now at the podium, because Adam is really close. Half a second is the difference between him and Rutinius, but I have to check the penalties, because I think, yes, Adam has 3 seconds more than them, but then Eric probably can be now on the podium, as it's 5 seconds for Rutinius, 8 for Adam, and 3 for Eric. So Eric only needs 2-second gap difference between him and Rutinius to be on the podium.
Yeah, and right now that gap is about 2 seconds. It's getting a little bit smaller as Backrow struggling in a bit. Moen as well, you got to watch out for him. He's got no penalties. I want to see where that BWT lands in all of this. I was about to call it a racing point, but of course, more familiar for driving a racing point in Tier 3. Full time for the Welshman. As Santiago, he's found a place on Williams. These guys haven't had too much action this race, in the second half at least, because of earlier incidents for the pair of them. But Santiago, he's been very prevalent. Or he was at the start.
Oh, Adam. Adam will try it. Sorry to interrupt, Unicorn, but now on the inside of turn 3, equal tires for both drivers. Rivals on Tier 3, rivals on F2, and now side by side on the exit of turn 3. Very good for Adam, now opening DRS, and slipstream for Rutenius though, but it's not enough for gaining that position back. Light braking for the Dutch driver. It's a little bit of contact there, and Atom will hold that P3, but of course remember we have penalties, and now we are only 2 laps left on this campaign of the feature race.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see that Rutenius just dancing all over the rear of him. I think he's still got the penalty advantage, so with just 1 lap to go, you've got to imagine that is going to help him when it comes to the checkered flag. Welsh Toast, though, still leading things dominantly up at the front. 2.7 seconds there, but, you know, well, Brainstew not too far behind him, and there's a huge 7-second gap between them. You got to say as well, Alex, it's been a brilliant recovery drive for Brainstew. That spin on lap, I want to say it's 3. I was going to say 1, but it's somewhere out of turn 6. Just, you'd think that's race ending for someone, but Brainstew, well, he's proved that you can cut back from it. Coffee Sipper JA Games going side by side through 7 and 8, and well, nicely done from the Carlin. And here goes Eric on Rutenius, and Rutenius in the end of things here. The tyres that Eric's got, just too much for the Dutchman to hold back, and with the tyres he's got, he's on, you know, the controller rather than the wheel, but he's gonna have a look. This didn't end well for him last time he tried it on someone, and he's just got out of it. But maybe he needs to exercise a little bit more patience. He's done it there. He's just got out of that move when it could have gone poorly for him.
Now, last lap, Rutenius 3-second time penalty. That can cost him that place with Adam. So right now, I think Adam should be ahead of Rutenius. We will see, because Wellstos now will cross the line with a 2.0 second gap. He will win this future race. Wellstos on P1 with the Tarius racing car. Brainstew on P2, but it seems like penalties probably can shuffle this a little bit. Now Atom will cross third with the Carlin. Universoso Eric will jump into P3, and Rutenius will fall into P6 as Backrow goes into P5, but no, it's Moen. Out of nowhere, no penalties for the BWT, and now is up into P4. What a race for him.
Yeah, Shenjay does collect 8th place as well, so the American, well, it looked like it was on for the win for him. He was so confident, but then that tyre mismatch at the end there really cost him, but he will start pole. He started pole in this one, finishes 8th. Let's see if he can do a bit better in the sprint race. If you're just tuning in, this is Misfits Racing League F2 action. We always use a community event here in the F2 cast to round out our week of Formula 1 action. This week it's been Austria. Next week it will be Silverstone, my home Grand Prix. But Welsh Toast here, the winner of the feature race. Brainstew behind him, Eric, Moen and Atom, your top 5. Backrow, Rutenius, Shenjay, Maka and 4-door Sedan, the top 10. But if you're just tuning in, thank you for watching. Thank you to everyone who's been tuning in so far. And a big shout out as well to our partners, Next Level Racing. If you're looking for sim racing rigs, they are the place to check out. Check it out in the link in the chat or in the panels down below. But moving on to the podium before the sprint race. There we are. What a race from Welsh Toast. Gotta say, it was looking like the soft, super soft was going to work out for Shenjay, but obviously the pit lane issue held him off there.
Yeah, that double pit stop is not going to work normally, and not on a race that is that short like this F2 races, 25 minutes of race as Wellstos crossed the line. And no safety cars, no BSCs. A lot of people really struggling on traction. And probably we can see that as well on the sprint race. So I really hope we don't see that. Domi having a lot of issues as well. Further Sedan recovering that, not having damage. But even though Domi having to retire the car, so we'll try to do the comeback on the sprint race as well as Neon and Psycho. Wellstos leading this race from Brainsteel and from Eric. Very good race for the 3 drivers on the podium.
Yeah, also Atom, 18th to 5th, I think I saw there. So a nice race from him. But here we go. Boiling down to the final race of the evening, the sprint race. As soon as we load in, there'll be no formation laps. So straight in. A little overcast. So I imagine that I don't think we are expecting rain. But at the same time,
No,
that doesn't
not
mean
on the race. I think it was plus 45 minutes on the forecast. So around 15 minutes should be this race, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think we should see some rain, but still overcast, probably a little bit colder, the tires. That can be probably an issue for the traction. As we saw, it was an issue on normal conditions. Probably we can see another more issues. I hope we don't. So right now, Unicorn just waiting for this grid and these lights.
Yeah, we've got a very bouncy Shenjay on pole position right now. But there he is. He's away. Routanius, though, another rocket ship start for him. The controller, though, really working out well for him. Moen as well. He's up into P4, but he's got Eric all over his gearbox and around the outside. Brainstew. Very nice start from him. He's up into P5. We've already got a yellow flag. It looks like Neon. He's already out of this race. Shenjay looking for P1 to reclaim it from Routanius, the Dutchman on the outside. Shenjay on the inside. There's been a massive Constantina. And you have got Brainstew there looking for points. But Moen, back row, sort of a rolling roadblock to stop the Italian. And there's been a massive crash behind. Atom, 4-door sedan, spinning into the wall. That's a VSC. I'm surprised it's not more, to be honest, as Atom struggles to get his car turned around without hitting the wall. Both guys losing their front wings entirely. Neon's out. These guys have lost their front wings. What a very dramatic start to this sprint race. If there was any question whether the traction was reduced as a result of, the conditions here, well, maybe that's our answer there, Alex, because that was pretty monumental. Let's have a little look while we're on the safety car of VSC. Shenjay, Routanius, they have stayed station. Moen's up to back row, drops Brainstew's up to. Eric's held station in 6th. Then Welsh Toast and Macca up 1 in 7th and 8th. Mark's up to Domi. What a start for him. 10th from 17th on the grid. JA Games, he's up 2 in 11th. And Psycho as well. The 2 ARTs, a very nice start for them in up 7 pace. Williams is up 1. Coffee Sipper's down 2. Antonio's up 1. Yar Santiago's down 1, and then 4-door sedan and Anthem have lost out a combined total of 21 places. Brainstew back row. Oh, it's Moen around on the first corner. Everyone just avoiding the BWT there. Not quite sure what happened to him, but there's a lot of cars 3 wide for Macca. I think it's Domi and Eric as they come down to turn 3. Who's going to win out of this lot? There's been a bit of a sandwich for Eric on board with him. I don't think he would have been too happy with that one. But everyone's just about around. I think everyone's damage-free as well here, Alex. There's a lot going on. It's very hard to keep track of who's who is where, who is overtaking who. Welsh Toast back row. These guys are exchanging Welsh Toast up into P4. That's a little bit easier to maintain knowledge of what's going on. Back row, Eric, they're getting very close together. And let's let JA Games to come through into turn P10. But around the outside, not really going to hold it there. And he drops back into 11th with Macca retaking the place. My goodness, Alex, what a start.
Yeah, a lot of these gaps. Very tight. Eric now on the outside of turn 9. We'll try it on Psycho. Still side by side, both drivers. Psycho holding it, not having any contact. Tenzei setting the fastest lap. Brainstew very close on Routinius, by the way. But now Psycho really trying to close again that gap. And who's that? It's Mark on Domi. The high-tech driver will try it on the Air 2 driver. Now Domi having better luck, it seems, on this race. Both opening DRS, but Mark with a very good traction out of turn 1. Side by side now. Exited that slipstream. Now not helping the driver. Domi big. Oh, late on the brakes. Damage for him. Now a spin on that circumstances, but it's 3 wide of turn 3. Oh, this can be very close, Unicorn.
Yeah, it's very, very close right now. All 3 of them have got DRS impressively as they come down into turn 4. All 3 still 3-1. I think they're helping each other turn here. I don't think anyone was going to make that corner without the assistance of the other. Mark, he's dropped back a bit. And it's Domi who comes out ahead in 6th place. His teammate Psycho behind him in 7th. Can Mark do anything? No, he can't. What a piece of racing to witness all of these guys going that close. Here goes Brainstrew. Is he going to have a look up the inside into turn 9? The Dams car on the rear of Rutanius, the Dutchman holding on to P2. Shenjay running away again, and this time, well, a mixed match in the pitch like last time won't cost him too much because there's no mandatory pit stop, so he shouldn't have to pit at all. Rutanius is defending from the man who's just set the fastest step of the race, the Italian Brainstew, looking all over the rear of Rutanius, but he's not found a way through yet. Can he find one? Down into turn 3, there is a massive train all the way from Domi through to Williams there, but for Brainstew, it is P2 now around the outside of Rutanius. Nicely done from him. Psycho, Mark, they're side by side again through turn 3. This time without their teammate of Domi. But it is Mark through. So
very good move from Mark. Very good move from Mark. Now into P7. These guys were 3 wide on this turn. Now Mark going a little bit wide. Psycho will try to make that gain on that mistake from the high-tech driver. So at the moment, Mark really struggling a little bit there because he had the place, but now with that mistake, he's can be vulnerable to the attack of Eric, who's really close behind him. This train, as you said, it's a massive one.
Yeah, and that's just a sort of characteristic of Austria, and it's one of my favorite tracks to just watch these guys race around, Alex, because these DRS trains are so powerful. You get all these cars bundled up, and in F2 especially, we're seeing here that the wheel-to-wheel action that it allows is just freeing for these drivers, and compared to some of the tracks that come before it, obviously France 2 weeks ago wasn't particularly restricting, but it's not, it feels like a long time ago, but it wasn't that long ago since we were putting these guys through their paces at Monaco, Baku, Canada, tracks that are tight-walled, whereas here in Austria, the overtaking opportunities are present at nearly every single corner if you're brave enough, and if you've got the speed. The setups here seems to be letting a few drivers down. Traction not at an all-time high, I think that's fair to say. We've seen a fair few slips and spills throughout this race, but as of right now,
Sensei having a penalty, 3-second time penalty for him, and now Brainstew is closing the gap, so it seems like Brainstew can have this P1 at the moment. 1.7 is the gap, well, unless he has a penalty as well. Now Mark very close on the back of Psycho. He has to actually lift before turn 9 apex because he was so close that he really wanted to keep it safe at that stage. Now opening DRS on Psycho. Psycho doesn't have DRS from Domi. 1.2 is the gap between both ART drivers. So right now I think like Mark is being a little bit held by Psycho. Held, sorry.
Well, I just mentioned it there. This track, it's not too difficult to overtake it if you've got the space, and he's got DRS as well, which is, the most critical part here, because Psycho doesn't have DRS ahead on his teammate in Domi, so Mark not being able to find a way past is slightly surprising, because here he goes, DRS down to turn 3. He hasn't got the best run. Now, as DRS gains him a little bit extra speed, Psycho just defends to the inside. Very nicely done from him, and Mark has no response, so I think it's credit to Psycho's defensive driving here, keeping him in that 7th place. And he's doing a really good job of not only helping himself stay in 7th, but his teammate Domi ahead, running away in 6th. And you got to say, the ART drivers, 11 places gained for Domi and 12 for Psycho. It's been a brilliant start to the sprint race for them as we're approaching the halfway mark.
Yes, now Williams out of turn 6 and 7 and now 8. It's trying to go side by side with JA Games. It's very close now in turn 9. Williams having a better exit, but not having the best of it at the moment on the outside of turn 10, trying to do the switchback. J Games goes wide there. I think he has damaged the MP Motorsport car, as now he's falling back, and Moen is there as well, trying to look for a place. Williams will go on the natural line for turn 1, but Moen still on the inside. A better exit, of course, for the Prema drive racing car, but Mark now is all losing some places.
Yeah, let's have a look. Well, before we do, Williams, Moen, they got past JA. Now they're side by side themselves. And Moen, well, it's been a pretty atrocious start to this race. Some success in the feature, but that spin in turn 1 Not going to help him out. Here goes Mark, losing yet another place. Well, he's not necessarily lose one because he's all the way in the wall, Alex. He's in the gravel trap, getting himself turned around, getting himself back to the track, just struggling for speed traction in the gravel trap as it's, you know, intended to slow a car down. But JA Games all the way on the rear of Williams, still got damage for him, but not able to find a way past as a result.
Yeah, now Brain's still really close in the gap. 1.2 is the gap with Sensei. He really needs to keep it clean on penalties because, as we said, Sensei has 3. Brain's still at the moment clean on penalties, and he really needs to stay on that 3-second time range. Oh, and
I don't know if there's been a crash, but
retired on the pits, I think, as there's a yellow flag for.
I don't think he did. Yeah, Santiago was very slow, and Mark was off on the inside or the outside coming out of turn 5. So I'm not quite sure what happened between them, but no safety car to show him. Psycho now, a brilliant switchback on Eric. Can he find the run he needs? He can. The Univirtuosi drops a place to Psycho. What a move. Psycho, he has just been on fire at the moment. He may not be gaining places, but he's doing a lot of defensive driving. JA Games, it would seem, that wing damage, well, not only as it comes to him, it is raining as well. But JA Games has got even more damage now after that, but it is raining. You are right, Alex, and we've seen it rain quickly here in Austria. Are we going to see it? Oh, it's full wets, isn't it? It's full wets in here, so it seems unlikely we'll see them.
There's no insert, so I don't think these drivers will change that compound. But still, I'm really impressed because Rutenius right now on P3 told us through the chat that it was going to be 45 minutes from the start. And it's only 9 laps, but Wellstott and Brackrow now trying to exchange the positions, both Charlotte and Trident driver. Better exit for Wellstott. He will try the move after losing that place, I think, 2 laps ago. Now on the inside, a very good run out of turn 1, now on the outside line of turn 3. Seems like a very good move, and now Brackrow will have the DRS, so we'll have to see what he can do on traction. It's like Wellstott gained a little bit there of breathing space, so now up into P4 and without penalties.
Yeah, Eric and Maka having a similar exchange. This time, though, it's going to be out of turn 3 rather than into it. And here goes the Univirtuosi. He's defending on the inside. Can Maka find a way past around the outside? A little bit of contact between the two. It's a little shaky for Eric, but he's holding on for the time being. Maka, though, on the Prima racing car at the inside of 6, still wheel banging. They've got it slowed down very drastically to avoid any major contact. And Eric, well, he stays ahead of Maka right now. Maka dropping a bit of time, but I'm sure he'll be more than satisfied to drop a bit of time to ensure that he stays in this race. No points for finishing in 9th, though. This isn't F1, and this isn't the feature race, so...
But still, he doesn't have penalties, and Psycho and Domi have. Especially Psycho with that 3-second time penalty. 1.7 is the gap between Maka and Psycho.
I hate to interrupt, Alex, but around the outside, looking for it on turn 3. He's going to go for a switchback here on Shenji, and that is how you do it. He just needs the run and the exit. He's going to get DRS. Here he goes. Shenji pulls the front. That could give Brainstew a little bit of slipstream. He looks for it. It's still raining here. It's going to get a little slippery, but I don't think it's going to impact us too much as he goes up the inside down into turn 4. What a move from him, the Italian. Well, he's not giving up despite the fact that Shenji's got a penalty. Brainstew's on a charge. He wants redemption for that first race, and even in that, he had a brilliant recovery, but up 6 for him right now.
Very good move, but Shinji locked up. He went a little bit wide, and then he had oversteered a lot. Not on turn 3, but as well on turn 4. So that was easier for Brainstew to do that move. But what a switchback from the Italian. Now up into P1, we know the pace he has, and he's showing it. So at the moment, looking for trying to get that P1 on the weekend, but it seems like Wellstott's now on P4 and probably will take it after winning on the future race, of course.
Yeah, and well, with that in mind, you know, that's a lot of points, especially considering that that feature race is worth more points. But Brainstew, not a bad haul either. Shenji, he'll be a little bit gutted with how his weekend has gone, but those 2 points in qualifying plus the extra point for finishing with fastest lap in the last one. We'll have to see where he finishes. He could be sort of still in the runnings 8th, though. Not a lot of points available for finishing there, but a good finish here. If he can snag this P2, which he is on for at the moment, we'll see whether he can finish up at the front of things. But It's going to be close, I think, in terms of point scoring over the weekend. Meanwhile, there's this huge fight going on down Padtanius, as he likes to be called when he's on the controller, in P3. Welsh Toast, back row, and Domi all in a train. Domi very close to back row right now.
Oh, back row losing the rear on turn 8. That's massive for him. A major bunch of damage there on the front wing. And he's going to lose all the points. He had a very good race he was having at the moment, but a little bit of pressure there on the DRS train, and that can be happening. So now down into P10 and probably a retirement for the Trident driver.
Yeah, well, you know, I can't imagine it's any consolation for him, but it did look very spectacular from the camera angle we had, and he's not the only one. Domi with a lovely 360 coming out of the first corner. He's got it turned around a little bit better. No damage either. He's got passed by his teammate, and now he's side by side with Eric, who's obviously got a lot more speed, and Maka could be a threat here as well, coming out of turn 3. Welsh Toast, Rutanius there, side by side. Who's going to come out on top here? Is Welsh Toast going to beat the Dutchman down to turn 4? Right now, it seems that the answer is most definitely yes, but Rutanius later on the brakes. He prefers that outside line, as we've seen, but I don't think it's going to matter too much, or is it? As Rutanius just holding off right now. There's still a few laps left in this one. 2 laps after this one. So 2.5, really. Almost there's a bit of lag, a bit of contact it looked like. But Welsh Toast actually just sort of teleporting a little bit backwards. Domi on the rear of Eric. His tyres might be a little bit overheated, but with the cloud coverage and, you know, the rain coming down, maybe they're calling 4-door sedan. He's had an issue in Jack Aitken's car as he's getting that turned around. But all eyes on the battles that are going on up at the front of things. Antonio, he's into it as low.
Shinji very close on Brinsteel. He has DRS now. Still DRS enabled, so it doesn't seem like it's for, well, not for dries. He will go on the outside of turn 3. Now Brinsteel a little bit trying to break leader. Trying to squeeze the American on the outside line. I think it's DRS for Brinsteel. Yes, it is. So very good defense from him. Now touching a little bit the wheel with the side pod, but Brinsteel will have this run out of turn 3 and now ahead on turn 4. Very good defense for him.
Yeah, very nicely done from the pair of them to, you know, obviously these guys, they're, you know, very experienced. We've seen them go toe to toe. We got the big Welsh Toast, Rutanius. They're defending or fighting one another. Rutanius is into the wall. We've seen a lot of people consumed by that turn 5 wall on the exit of turn 4. And now, well, there's a lot of cars hunting for positions. Well, there's only 1.2 seconds behind them. Look at this pack. Just hunting down Rutanius now. There goes Psycho at the inside. Eric's going to have a little look as well. Almost
I think there's damage. Yeah, there's damage for Eric.
Oh, Macca's tapped it for the rear. I think they've synchronized slid into the wall. Damage for the pair of them. And, well, Domi, if you had a, you know, money for every time Domi spun, you'd be pretty rich after the end of this race. It's been unfortunate evening for him.
It has been definitely. Domi after that I don't know if I didn't see entirely what happened. I know Eric had damage now, then he was slowed down and he had Domi and Maka, so probably Domi as well slowed down and Maka didn't expect it. So damage for everyone here, except, no, even Eric has damage. It seems like Psycho was the one who didn't have. Rutanius really close on Eric. Of course, both have damage, but I think Rutanius have even more.
Well, with the damage in mind, you know, it's just getting these cars to the end now, limping home after a race. This race, you know, there's really been a war. Eric Rutanius got for a massive lunge, and with the damage, well, that really wasn't the most well-advised thing to be doing. And he now sits stationary in that wall, trying to get things turned around in the grass so as not to impede anyone coming through. There goes Moen, past his tier 3 teammate. Domi as well, picking off Rutanius for P8. Brainstew wins. Shenjie behind him in P2, both on track, and it would have been the same case if Shenjie had been ahead by less than 3 seconds. Welsh Toast. Well, it's been a nice drive from him. He comes home P3, penalty free as well. Psycho, he'll finish P4 ahead of Eric. 15 places gained for Psycho. What a race from him. Eric picks up P5. Coffee Sipper crosses in 6th. A nice drive from him. Moen a little wide through the final corner, but 7th place for the Welshman. Domi, he picks up 8th. Can Maka take him on penalties? He can. So Maka scores the final point. Rutenius,
leaving Domi without any point. He had 17th place and now will not score that point as Rutenius, as you said, crossing the line for P10. J Games, Jared Santiago Antonio, and Ford Sedan will be lapped on this campaign as Williams and Backrow still to finish. Backrow actually fitted the wet compound, trying to pray for the conditions to be unfavored to him, but it doesn't seem like it turned. It didn't switch. So at the moment, Backrow, it seems like no point for him either.
No, absolutely. Well, that concludes a very action-packed and what appears to have been a very difficult track for these F2 drivers. A lot of sliding, a lot of spinning, and not a lot of visible traction. There we go, the final driver crossing the line. But Brainstew, what a weekend it's been for him. The first race didn't quite go his way, spinning coming out of turn 6. Psycho picks up driver of the day for the sprint race. And, well deserved. 15 places gained. Atom coming across as well in the chat, just saying how impressive that is. But Brainstew, the Italian, on top of the podium. And, Shenji there in P2. And, Shenji, he could have got the win in that first race so easily if he'd just got those tyres right. But for him, second place, and I think that earlier 8th place will really cost him in the final standings. But let's take a quick look at what is going. Thank you to Kai190 for the rating party of 5. It's much appreciated. But Brainstew wins the race here in the dams from 7th of the grid to pick up 17 points. Shenji, fastest lap again for the high-tech driver, but only 12 points for him from pole position. Welsh Toast in 3rd. Psycho from 19th to 4th. What a drive from him. Then Eric, P5 for the Spaniard. Then Coffee Sipper, 12 for him. Moen and Maka, the 2 Welsh drivers, 7th and 8th respectively. Domi in 9th. The second Dutch driver, Rutenius, comes home in 10th after a few incidents in the final few stages of that race. Williams from 14th to 11th. Back row in 12th. J8 Games, he held station 13th to 13th. Yar Santiago 14th. Antonio 15th. Ford Sedan, Mark, Atom, and Neon rounding it out. But let's have a look at the weekend overall. Brainstew brings it home with 39 points, 4 points ahead of Welsh Toast, qualifying, putting Brainstew ahead there. If he hadn't got that pole position or the fastest lap, he would have actually lost to Welsh Toast, who won the feature race. Eric in 3rd with 21 points. Shenji gets 4th place. Moen in 5th, a nice consistent drive from him. Atom, 10 points, only in the feature race, but it brings him enough points for 6th. Backrow again, only scoring points in that feature race for 7th. Psycho in 8th. Rutenius 9th. Coffee Sipper, his fellow countryman, in 10th. And then Maka and Ford Sedan in 11th and 12th. The only other point scoring finishers, Domi, Williams, J.A. Gaines, Yar Santiago, Antonio, Mark, and Neon, all failing to score points. But that just about wraps things up for us, Alex. Any closing remarks for not only F2, but Austria as a whole? It's been a wild week, and what a way to finish it there.
Just for F2, Wellsto's very bad luck because he had that P1 there, but then Brainstew with that pole position, just really stealing it. So, very good drive from both of them. Wellsto won one race, and Brainstew won the other. So, at the moment, just saying thank you to everyone watching all this week. It's been a very good and intense week as always here on MRL. So I really hope to see you again on Silverstone.
Yeah, absolutely. Big shout out to everyone who's watching again. Thank you to Kai for the raid. Thank you to everyone who's followed. Thank you to J8 Games. He subscribed just before the stream went live, I think, so it didn't pop up in the notifications in the chat, but we did see it, and we appreciate everyone's support. Make sure you're in the Discord, !Discord, if you want to join a brilliant community of sim racers. If you get notified, join races like this. This F2 is a community event, so anyone is open to join, as well as a few other community events that aren't streamed on the main channel, but they are, of course, still going on, and it's a great fun to take part in, or just to join, a like-minded group of racers. With that being said, though, a big thank you to everyone watching. A big shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. If you're looking for a sim racing rig, they are the people to check out, !NLR, or look them out in the panels down below. They're doing great things for the sim racing community, so we really appreciate it. And of course, all our highlights and full race replays can be found on our YouTube channel But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and raid a member of the F1 community. But before we do, we're going to hit you with the outro as always. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on Tuesday. It'll be Alex Biddo and Stryfium for the Silverstone action kicking off for Tier 3.